programa. El genial periodista Bill Maher enumera las razones por las cuales él cree que Kamala Harris en ningún caso va a ganar.
Harris would be the first woman president, first black woman president, and first Asian president. But I don't vote for who will be the first. I vote for who will win. And for whatever reason, Harris has never been popular. You can count the number of delegates she won in the 2020 primaries on one hand, as long as that hand has no fingers. In 3 years as vice president, she's been quieter than an electric car. And it's not fair that she's not popular. She's intelligent and accomplished, and in fact was put in charge of the border. And look at how... Okay, bad example.
Genial. Bueno, Trump estuvo por la tarde en Carolina del Norte. Hay muchos pueblos, sobre todo Asheville, que han sido destruidos por el huracán que pasó recientemente por allí. Y Trump visitó las zonas en ruinas.
I'm here today in western North Carolina to express a simple message to the incredible people of the state. I'm with you, and the American people are with you all the way. We're going to continue to be with you. We'll see what happens with the election. And we're, on January 20th, you're going to have, I think, a new crew coming in to do it properly and help you in a proper manner.
Dijo que mucha gente allí en Carolina del Norte, en la parte occidental de Carolina del Norte, Asheville y alrededores, está molesta con el gobierno de Biden y con la respuesta que este gobierno ha dado después del huracán.
Helping the recovery effort in North Carolina to keep making these claims that FEMA's not doing their job?
Well, I think you have to let people know how they're doing. If they were doing a great job, I think we should say that too, because I think they should be rewarded. But if they're not doing, does that mean that if they're doing a poor job, we're supposed to not say it? These people are entitled to say it. You've obviously seen nothing but very bad statements coming out about the job that FEMA and this administration has done, having to do with this area, North Carolina as a whole. And by the way, other states also, they're also complaining.
En una entrevista con la prensa británica, el señor Trump elogió al primer ministro de Israel, Netanyahu, y dijo que está haciendo un buen trabajo.
So I had a very nice call with him. He called me up yesterday morning. We talked. I congratulated him on obviously doing a very good job keeping Israel safe. He's doing very well. He calls me on occasion. I think he wants my views on things. He's had very little cooperation from the White House, as you know. They didn't want him to do anything, and they would not be in the good position they're in right now if they listened to the White House, which I guess would be a combination of Kamala and Joe. They're not happy about that either, I will tell you. Israel's not happy about that.
Dijo que habla con frecuencia telefónicamente con Netanyahu.
But we had a very good talk. It lasted for a while. I know him very well. And he'll call me on occasion. I haven't called him, no. He did. He told me that he was attacked at his village where he lives, a vacation area, and that he was attacked, but he was fine.
Do you think Iraq should counterattack Iran?
Well, we'll see what happens. He was asking what I thought, and I just said, you do what you have to do.
Dijo en otra comparecencia que si él hubiera sido presidente de Estados Unidos el año pasado, en octubre, jamás no habría perpetrado la matanza en Israel.
You know, it's so sad to think that if I were president, that war would have never started. You wouldn't have all those dead people, all those, just demolished cities and areas. You wouldn't have had October 7th. That's the most important. You wouldn't have had that. And all of the destruction and the hatred and everything else that followed October 7th. You wouldn't have had Russia attacking Ukraine. You wouldn't have had inflation, frankly, and you wouldn't have had the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, in my opinion. You wouldn't have had the Taliban and Afghanistan and all of the things that are happening over there. So that moment in history was really one of the most embarrassing moments we've ever had.
Afirmó que la política exterior de Biden ha sido horrible.
He's going to do what he wants to do, and I think he has to do that. Biden was giving him some very bad... Look, Biden has been historically horrible on foreign policy. Incompetent, I would say. What you do is anything he says, do the opposite, and you'll be brilliant if you do the opposite. but he gave him instructions not to do anything. And Israel was under great danger. They're under much less danger right now than they were 1 month ago. Let's face it.
Dijo que él cree que la mayor parte de los rehenes que jamás capturó y que no ha liberado están ya muertos.
And I think a lot of those hostages were dead. I think they were dead. I mean, it's a very sad thing. It's not even believable when you think about it. But I think pretty early on, there were a lot that were gone. And, just God rest their souls. If October 7th wouldn't happen, which it wouldn't have, because Iran funds it, and Iran had no money. They had no money. They had absolutely no money. And I would have made a deal with them, and they wouldn't have done October 7th. But because they have no respect for Biden, they did it.
En otro acto de campaña, el señor Trump dijo que si Kamala Harris llega a la presidencia, obligará a los estadounidenses a usar solamente automóviles eléctricos.
As a senator, Kamala voted to impose a 100% ban on gas-powered cars and trucks, which would kill an estimated 200,000 U.S. auto jobs. On day one of the Trump administration, I will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate, and we will end the Green New Scam once and for all. We will quickly become energy independent, and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill.
Sin embargo, Kamala lo desmintió, dijo que si ella gana, invertirá en la industria automotriz y que no obligará a nadie a comprar o movilizarse en un vehículo eléctrico, que cada ciudadano podrá elegir un vehículo a gasolina, híbrido o eléctrico.
Under my plan, we will invest in the industries that built America, like steel, iron, and the great American auto industry. Contrary to what my opponent is suggesting, I will never tell you what kind of car you have to drive.
Trump prometió enfáticamente que bajará la inflación.
For horrendous years, Kamala Harris can't say one thing that she'd do differently, right? You heard that. If you vote for me, I will end inflation, I will bring jobs back to our country, We'll flood our shores with companies and jobs. We'll seal our borders immediately. And we'll let people in. You know, we have the safest border in the history of our country. Hold it. Put up my favorite sign of all time. Put up my favorite graph. I have to use it. My favorite graph.
Recordó que él es muy partidario de imponer aranceles a los productos que Estados Unidos importa. Y dijo que para él la palabra arancel es bellísima, más bella todavía que la palabra amor.
The word tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. More beautiful than love, more beautiful than respect. No, less beautiful than religion. No, I don't want to get into that. But the word tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. Remember that. It's going to make our country rich. And our politicians were too stupid for so many years, or something else was going on.
Ayer domingo, y multiplicándose, el señor Trump reafirmó su promesa de que no impondrá impuestos a las propinas que cobran los meseros, los camareros.
There shouldn't be a tax on tips. I said, that's an interesting idea. This is my consultant. There's a good waitress who's great. And I said, that's an idea. I thought about it for about 15 minutes, and I said, what a good idea. But, you know, they then came out like a month or two later. They made the statement. They got blown away because by that time, they're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to do it. Just like he was going to do the educational thing, you know, with the debt. With debt, you borrow money to go to college, and they were going to just write it off. He's been talking about it for 3 years. It's totally dead.
Pareció entusiasmarse o ilusionarse cuando recordó que las elecciones serán en apenas 2 semanas.
I have to say that that's right, you said 15 days, that's right, it's hard to believe. 15 days until we get to be great again, right? But we have, look, What they did is terrible because this guy won the nomination. He got 14 million votes. I'm not a fan, but he got 14 million votes, many more votes than anybody else. They had 22 people running. Kamala was running too, and she was the first one to drop out. Shockingly, he picked her to run, which, you know, I think he wished he had that decision to do over again. And they took it away from him. They took the presidency.
Una pausa, será breve. Al volver, todo lo último de las campañas de Kamala y Trump, y al final, un improbable diálogo entre el matón venezolano Cabello y un niño asustado. Ya venimos.